Single moms? When did you realize your kid wasn't as innocent as you thought? This generation is completely whack. I remember being 14 and still having braces and wearing ugly blue eyeshadow to school every day. But this was before social media, so all of my friends were just as ugly as me. But on my daughter's 15th birthday, we went out to Chili's and what she wore was shocking. Not because it was anything crazy revealing. It was just a corset top and some cargo pants. But it made me realize the pressure she had to grow up faster. She even did her makeup and I swear my baby Annalise looked 23 years old. And as we sat down, the waiter began to flirt with her. I wasn't really paying attention because I figured she'd turn him down or just act really shy. But in the corner of my eye, I saw her batting her eyes and looking up at him with a single finger twirling her hair. Motherly rage flooded my system. I literally saw the bulge in his pants. Hey, do you guys have a birthday candle with the number 15? Because that's how old my daughter is turning today. Luckily, the guy went super red and started stammering. So I knew that he had simply been blindsided and we even got switched to a new waiter. As for my daughter, I didn't want to ruin her birthday. So I let her change the topic and we just talked about something else. But when she woke up the next day, I asked her what the F she thought she was doing. That she could wear what she wanted, but there was no way I'd ever let her date anyone over the age of 17. She did that teenage angst thing where they pinch the bridge of their nose and roll their eyes, like it was the most original move in the book. So I grabbed her phone and unlocked it with her facial recognition. This time, something in her eyes changed. She begged me not to go through it. It was a good effort, but not good enough. Honey, I love you. And if you were a mother, you'd do the same thing. I then walked into my room and locked the door. There wasn't anything too bad. I did find what people call thirst traps on her TikTok, but her account was private and her following was mostly girls. The worrying part was her Instagram. There were bikini pictures plastered everywhere, with extremely intimate songs and angles. The most disturbing part was they were all taken on vacations that I took her on, except I, obviously, hadn't taken any of the photos. In her text were a bunch of guys from her high school that she was very obviously leading on, but amongst them all, one stood out. She had no mutuals with him, and in his bio was the name of a nearby university. My heart dropped. They had met a few months back, when she was 14, after she had met him in a cafe, and they texted for months before it suddenly stopped a few weeks ago. Well, first I needed to make sure that my suspicions were correct. I handed her back the phone, and pretended like I was too old to have been able to find anything. I literally saw her smirk, and she even apologized for flirting with the guy yesterday. That night, I went to the guy's college. It was a pretty small campus, and it was a Saturday, so I figured that he couldn't be far. That's when I saw him, outside a frat house with Greek letters completely topless, DJing with a bottle of beer in his hand. I walked up the stairs and tapped him on the shoulder. Excuse me, do you go here? And I guess he thought I was some undercover cop, because he immediately lifted up his hands and showed me his ID. He was 23 years old. My stomach twisted. I slapped him across the face, and because his friends were too scared to do anything, they let me drag him down the stairs by the ear like a dog without intervening. I took advantage of the shock and alcohol that was still in his system and grabbed the beer bottle, ready to knock it across his head. Yo man, what are you doing? I don't want any trouble. So you don't want any trouble, but you're cool with dating a 15-year-old girl? I saw confusion sweep across his R-worded frat boy face, one that you can't fake. Annalise? I asked. Huh? She's 20, and hot as heck. I slapped him again. Yo man, what the F? He shouted, before whipping out his big black iPhone as evidence. I read their texts. Right there, plain as day, she had told him she was a 20-year-old girl, and the second I confirmed that it was my teenage daughter, he blocked her. I drove home that night seeing red. My baby girl wanted to act as jailbait like it's cute, then she had another thing coming. This time, I didn't wait until the next day. I simply shook her awake. Mom, what? So I just met Pedro. Her eyes were immediately filled with fear, but instead of trying to defend herself, or yelling at me for being a spy, she burst into tears and wrapped her arms around me. Even through the anger, I instinctively stroked her hair. I sat down in the bed beside her and decided that even she deserves to be listened to. But what she said next just angered me even more. Mom, I met up with him, but he didn't show up. And his friend, she was then interrupted by bursting into tears again. I thought he was a good person, Mom. I'm sorry. It didn't take long to piece together what she was saying. Someone had stolen my daughter's innocence. The rest of the full story is on my channel.